I don't want to get you in trouble, but I want to ask a question.
Oh, gosh.
I've heard it said, though, before that there are a lot of phony sex trafficking organizations out there that will raise a lot of money, and the admin fees and the marketing is like 90% of their budget, and like 10% of it is actual work, and they have millions of dollars, and they'll at the end of the year say, we saved 3 kids. And I've heard people say, man, it's like it's very popular right now that they say they're doing this, but they're not. And we've always known you, but I've known, like, you actually are doing it. Does it bother you that those organizations exist or are not really fulfilling their mandate or call that they say?
So it's crazy. That should have been my answer to the first thing when you said what
frustrates you.
Frustrates you, because even you saying that makes me want to cry. Wow. Because I remember at one point just saying, God, like I remember before we had our promised land and the family style safe homes, we were in a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, like concrete jungle with no grass. And we had 60 kids, and we were literally kidnapping them from the traffickers, literally getting babies, and that's babies were going for $18. And I just remember, and that's when we actually got that little boy, 1.5-year-old, and opened up his diaper and saw that he'd been messed with. So we were having these real life things in front of us. And at that time, I didn't have time to go on Facebook. I didn't have time to go on, there's a rescue, a child is dying. You're not going to go and do a social media post. I didn't have anybody doing anything like that. We were rescuing. We were busy doing the work. Right. I didn't have anybody doing our media or anything like that. And I remember, like, the local clinic would call us, the Burmese local clinic, because they would have the baby, and then there would be traffickers waiting and ready, and people were in and out, so they couldn't monitor it. So I remember them calling us, and it was at a time where I couldn't even feed the babies rice. And I remember just saying, like, to them, hey, I can't feed the children I have right now. We're really struggling. Like, can you find somewhere else to give this baby? And babies are so expensive, obviously, you guys know. And so a rescued baby would drive your budget up $300 a month. So you have the Pampers, you have the formula, you have the baby mama, you have all of that. Yeah. And so all of that would go up instantly. And I didn't have that. Like, I didn't know how I was going to, and I was responsible. So I was like, I know you don't add more children for, like, it doesn't make sense if I can't feed the ones I have. So I asked the clinic and I asked the hospital, what if I don't take this child? And they said, if you don't take this child will end up in the hands of a trafficker within 72 hours. And so if you don't, there's nowhere else, nobody else will take this baby. And I remember just crying out to God and saying, God, I'm doing everything you've asked me to do, and I don't have a media platform. I don't know how to do any of that. Like, but I'm doing what you asked me to do. Something's got to give. And I remember that point of frustration, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I had, at that point, like I said, something's got to give. And then from there, God supernaturally provided the promised land and the rice and gave me the promise, So I really had to really check my heart to not get bitter and to just be like, okay, that it's kind of like that passage where it says, some preach Christ for other motives, for this and for this, but I'm just going to rejoice that Christ is preached, whatever, So at the very little, at least they're talking about child trafficking and child exploitation, at least some words. It might cost awareness. $2 million to bring awareness, but at least they're doing it. But it's, this just literally happened. Some other board members that are pastor friends of mine, they came and they said, hey, did that other organization ever contact you? Because they're an awareness organization, but they're looking for safe homes to trust. And they said they have $2 million in the bank and they're just looking for other children's homes. Did they ever contact you? And it's funny, but I contacted them in Bangkok. I said, hey, I heard that you guys are around here. You're looking for a safe home.
You got some money.
You're like, this person told me that we all know each other. Like, hey, you're looking for a safe home. We're your people. We got them, like, come up and see us, come up and do this. Let's network and all this stuff. And it was like crickets. So I just have to do what God, I have to stay in my lane. I have to keep my heart right and pure, not get bitter against people, you know what I mean? And that kind of thing. And just be like, well, at least child, exploitation awareness is being preached and everything. But it does hurt my heart.